This is Building a Creative Life. I'm Pam Vale, a New England artist, bringing the world of creativity to your door through casual conversations with artists, creators, and everyday people, helping curious, midlife women begin their next creative chapter. I'm glad you're here. Let's get started. Today, I'm joined by the delightful Kelly Vliet, a multi-passionate creative, serial project starter, and nature photographer living in Belgium, who's also a proud collector of all of the hobbies. Kelly has ADHD, and instead of fighting it, she learned to embrace the beauty and the chaos. In our conversation, we dive into what it's like to start a million projects, why accountability matters, how travel and photography open new doors, and why cooking doesn't have to be perfect, tidy, or linear to be joyful. This episode is full of inspiration, self-acceptance, and a reminder that your creativity doesn't have to fit inside anyone else's box. And be sure to stick around until the end, where I'll share my own reflections and thoughts on how to apply Kelly's story to your own creative journey. Well, welcome, Kelly. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
It's my pleasure. I am so excited to talk to you, and I have some topics that I want to cover, but I would love it if you could share a little bit about you and what you do.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, so I'm Kelly. I live in Belgium. I always tell people I'm a photographer, but I'm also multi-passionate. So that means I don't really have one thing that is like my thing. I love everything, basically. I feel like I'm a creator with ADHD. That's an important one. And so, like, I switch from hobbies to like interests and sports, and I just try to do basically everything. I have a newsletter on Substack called The Girl Who Tried Everything, which is basically, like it says it all. And I write there like every week. And like I create the things. That's how I tell people. I don't really have like a business like or like a name for myself, sort of. I love creating, but I do think my main passion, sort of, is photography. That's the one that's been like I've done it for like 15 years. So that's the only one that has like sort of stuck to me. But I don't do like weddings or like portraits. I'm more of a nature outdoor photographer. And yeah, that's me in a nutshell, I think.
I will put your Substack link and everything
Yeah,
in the show notes so people can
that's
follow you
awesome.
and also see your
Yeah,
beautiful photography.
thank you so much.
Yeah, it's awesome. I'm excited to sort of dig in a little bit to the label of being multi-passionate.
Mhm.
Also, uh, creating with ADHD. I had a guest on a show air last week where she talked about it, and because it's something that I don't navigate, there were things I learned that I didn't know people have to think about, or ways
Yeah.
of. I think what I was most surprised by was that it was the keeping her attention. Like, she was good
Yeah.
at starting things, and then
Yeah.
it had to be something that would keep her attention. And I would love
Yeah.
if you could share. I got a lot of feedback on that episode because
Yeah.
people resonated with that and didn't maybe realize that that's what it was sort of associated with. If you could talk a
Yeah.
little
Oh
bit
yeah.
about that and how it
Yeah.
shows up.
Yeah. I mean, definitely. So yeah, I guess the starting something is really easy. Like whenever I get like a new hyper focus or something just catches my attention, I go deep, like really fast. And that's super great, but like the moment that focus starts to wane and like I get bored or I have like learned whatever I needed to learn from it, it's really difficult to stick to it. It's like somehow my brain just like rebels against it and it's like, okay, we're done with this. Even though you want to keep doing it, we're done. And then everything else becomes like it's like a kid in a candy store. Everything else is just so much more fun. And it's like, oh God, I want to do something else, but you can't because you like told yourself, no, we're gonna do this, but it's really difficult. Like it's almost impossible even it feels
Hmm.
like. And you have to do like other stuff sort of to I guess hit that dopamine to get focus again, I guess. But yeah, it's not easy.
No, and I think that even someone who maybe doesn't fall under the label of ADHD, like I totally identify with that. And um, I think of myself sort of as a pioneer or a beginner. Like I love the beginning stages of projects.
Yeah.
And I understand that some people focus more on that, or some people
Yeah.
like the completion or like the end or other stages. So it's interesting to hear someone talk about that. Do you have like,
Yeah.
are there tricks that you have for yourself? Like if it's something you have to complete, are there
I
things you
mean,
do?
yeah, I guess accountability, like getting other
Mm,
people sort of involved, even just telling them, I need to do this, you need to help me, sort of like be like, you have to do this, come on, you can do it. And sort of, like I said, I mean, go for a walk, go outside to get like the dopamine flowing and get like the outside air in, I guess. And then come back to it, I guess. And like, if it's on a computer, don't close your laptop, just like open it up, sort of, and hopefully, whenever you kind of walk by, at some point, you might be like, okay, I'm just gonna look at it. And don't have any
no
expectation of
pressure.
doing something with it. But yeah, and I mean, somehow you'll get it done. And I think deadlines, if it's a deadline, it's okay if you've got a week and you're not doing anything about it. And like the day before, or even like 2 hours before, you'll probably jump in and get it done. That's just how it works. And that's
Yeah.
okay, acceptance.
Exactly. And like understanding your process too, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
everybody's so different and that might
Yeah.
be the way you work. I know for me, for when I have art jobs, a lot of times I do procrastinate,
Yeah.
and it's in that last little chunk of
Yep.
time where I like
Yeah.
knock it out.
Yeah.
You
And
could,
that works, like
yeah,
some people just need that, and that's totally fine. Just,
yeah.
yeah.
Um, the label multi-passionate is
Yeah.
very it's kind of trendy right now, like especially
Yeah,
on
I know.
Substack or
Yeah.
other social media like bios. It's like
Yeah.
everybody's multi-passionate. And
Yeah.
um I would love if you could talk a little bit about that. Like I definitely am, I
Yeah.
believe in that. It's like the process of creation for me is
Yeah.
what I adore. Um but I know there are like some downsides of being multi-passionate, and then there are benefits. And if you could talk a little bit about your experience with like
Yeah.
being involved with a lot of things.
Yeah. I mean, I think I first heard the term somewhere like from Emily Wapnick it was like somebody sent me the YouTube video and I was like, "Oh my God, that is me. What is this?" Like just perfect. And I kind of knew that I had this sort of like circle of like, okay, I need to find out what my thing is. Like maybe it's a job or like a business idea. I need that one thing, because then I can start doing it, like get better and sort of like create a business around it and then grow and all that like stuff. And so I started just like figuring out what do I like. I had like a big list of whatever I love to do, and then sort of I found a sort of common thread, I guess, around it. And then I just got into trying them out, but it felt like every time I got into like the learning and figuring everything out, I got bored really quickly, and I was like, well, but how do I keep doing it? But it just never stuck. It never like I couldn't. I tried so hard, but I couldn't, and I always started over because my brain was like, okay, maybe this is not the right idea, or maybe it's something else. So we're just gonna do it all over again, right? But like some point after maybe 50 times of doing that, I was like, okay, seems not to be working for me. Like, what is happening? But then I found out about like multi-passionate people. There is no one thing. You can't figure it out. You will always have that circle of finding something new and like doing something different. So, and I kind of just learned to accept that's who I am, I guess. And that's part of the fun now for me. Just like I know whenever I find something new, it's like, ooh, goody, I've
Hmm.
got some new dopamine and like learning some new stuff. So yeah, it makes me really happy right now. So
I think it's really good for people to hear that too, because I know I spent a lot of my career feeling like I was doing something wrong because I
yeah,
wasn't focused. Or,
yeah,
I would envy people who knew that they loved to watercolor landscapes,
Yeah.
and that's all they did. And they
Yeah.
put everything into that, and they built a career, and and they built like an identity around it. And I never
Yeah.
was able to do that because,
Yeah.
I might try that, but then I'm like, oh, but I could do this too, or maybe I want to try
Yeah.
a different medium, or maybe I want to do it digitally, or it's like about the exploration and the
Yeah.
like experimentation
Yeah.
for me,
It's just like fun, really. There's so much to learn in this world, and it would be a shame if we couldn't try anything new because we're like, that's my identity, that's who I am, and I don't need anything else. I mean, I would be bored, really.
I
Like,
would I would totally be bored. Absolutely.
yeah.
What kind of crafts do you do? Like what are some of the other things that you like to or you've tried
I
or
mean, uh, I'm like, I kind of like watercoloring a bit. I started like coloring with like alcohol markers, like
Oh
the
yeah.
whole these like childlike sort of books, and they're really fun.
It's
So I just
definitely like a
bought like
learning curve with the alcohol
yeah,
markers.
yeah, I know. And I mean, I just whenever sometimes I just go shopping in like a craft store and just like look at random stuff. I'm like, okay, this is interesting. Let's buy it and see if we'll get into it. And but no, yeah, and I love DIYing stuff. I think I really love like doing things with my hands, like
Hmm.
not really per se online, but like really like ceramics and all that. It's just yeah, you're like getting into it, sort of to keep my brain from like going on and on
Hmm.
and on, I guess.
And get into like the flow state of it, like where it's that
Yeah,
sort of
yeah, exactly.
meditative.
Yeah, that's what I do with photography too.
Mm.
I just go out and I'm just like, I have my camera and I just like go for a walk. And I could be like, just, you could see me in a field like doing random stuff and I would just be like in flow and like not knowing where I am, what I'm doing, but
It's important
Yeah.
to do that,
Yeah.
especially in our
Yeah.
busy lives.
Oh, yeah.
Why nature photography for you?
I think because I'm just a nature person, I love to be outside. Like, I hate being indoors. I get like cooped up if I stay indoors all day long. And I love traveling. I love seeing new places. And I feel like I can capture sort of the essence of nature because nature doesn't like, it doesn't literally move away from me. I mean, it changes, but it's like not like people like going away and you have to follow them, sort of.
Hmm.
You can be like grounded and like mindful and like be immersed in it. So yeah.
Your photographs are beautiful. I'm
Thank you
I
so
was
much.
very moved by your
Oh,
photography.
that is so
Um,
sweet.
do you have any maybe tips for someone who's new to photography that might want to get involved in that as a creative
Yeah.
hobby?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, my first tip is always like go out and take photos. Because I know like a lot of people tend to overthink, but the
Hmm.
only way you'll learn is by doing it and just by like just go out and take a bunch of pictures. It doesn't matter. And like just come back and then if you put them on the computer, like okay, see like composition, like is it like it's for me it's feeling.
Hmm.
I think it's not even like it needs to be perfect. It just for me when I look at photos, it needs to be like it needs to give me some feeling, I guess. But yeah, I mean, don't go into editing right away. Just go out. That's the only thing I can like tell people. Go out, take pictures, and get a friend in it. That helps too. My husband loves photography too, and it really like he's always like, I'm just looking at you, how you take pictures, and that helps me so much.
Wow.
So I guess yeah,
Definitely. I think it helps too to maybe have like an idea, especially for someone who's very new to creative expression, to
yeah,
have like something maybe you're looking for. Like maybe it's a
yeah,
color palette. Maybe it's
yes,
like
color
I'm gonna
walks. Yeah,
photograph things that are green or,
yeah,
details like doors or something like that
yeah,
that kind of, especially if they're traveling, can sort of give them a little bit of a
yeah,
boundary to work
yeah.
within.
Yeah, yeah, that's lovely. Yeah, it's like sort of a journal. Like,
Yeah.
what can you see on on a trip that everybody else kind of ignores, right? Sort of. Yeah.
Hmm. Exactly, or see it from a different angle, maybe than
Yeah,
you
yeah.
normally
Like
would.
go low or yeah.
Absolutely. And I know you like to travel, as you
Yeah.
said. How do you find your hidden gems, or how do you plan your travel creatively?
I mean, it depends. When I travel by camper, we have no plan.
Really?
Which I kind of love, right? Like, so we're going to Sweden tomorrow, and like we have no plan. It's because we can just kind of drive, and there's like an app called Park for Night for like sort of, places you can sleep, and I just like scroll through them and look for beautiful spots, and it doesn't even matter what we do because we're in nature, and I just wait till the sun kind of goes down, and
Yeah.
then we always go out for a walk in the area where we're at, and then take photos as much as we can. So, but I mean, sometimes I do like travel by plane, and then it's a whole different story because then it feels like I kind of maybe over plan, but like I plan sunrise and sunsets. So I just like go to travel blogs and use Google to find out about like the beautiful places wherever we go, and then I sort of try to match that like wherever we're staying, if it's not too far, for sunrise and sunset. So
And you
yeah.
picked sunrise and sunset because of the light or because
Yeah.
because it's spectacular light?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, in the beginning, I mean, like harsh light, it can be like an experiment sort of, but placed like beautiful like spots and like views are always a little bit better when it's like sunrise or sunset. And I prefer sunrise because
Me too.
first of all, there's less people because not everybody wants to get up at 5 when they're like on holiday. But
Exactly.
me, yes, very me.
Yeah.
And like most of the time, the night has been a little colder, so there can be a little fog or like,
Mhm.
so yeah, that's my
We renewed our wedding vows in Scotland a few years ago, and we
Oh,
did it
wow.
on Isle of Skye, and we got up at
Wow.
4 because I wanted the
Yes.
sunrise. But
Yeah,
unfortunately,
exactly.
in Scotland, as you know, it was very
Yep.
foggy. So we didn't get like quite the vista that we wanted, but it was still
Yeah.
very like
Oh,
atmospheric and moody
magical.
and pretty magical. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was great. Everybody
Wow.
would they were all good sports to get up with us early and
Yeah.
go hike. I hiked in a wedding dress with
Oh, that's
boots and
awesome.
yeah, and we did
Yeah.
like a hand fasting and stuff. So it was
Oh, so
yeah,
beautiful.
it
I
was
love
really cool.
that.
But I agree. I agree with the morning light. I love going out for morning walks because
Yeah.
of that. I love seeing
Yeah.
the softness of that light. It just
Yeah.
feels good on
It
you.
does. And like feeling sort of alone because
Yeah,
like
nobody's
a lot
up.
of people are still sleeping. Yeah, it's like a genuine, like serene sort of atmosphere. I love it. Yeah.
Do you have times of the day other than that, like for photography, that um, creatively you're more productive or more
I
like,
think I'm a morning person
yeah,
in general. Like, I mean, I can get up and just like get into it.
same.
So, I mean, I know some people like, oh, I need my coffee. I get like, I made myself a tea and I'm totally down. Like, I can go for it.
Yeah, I agree. Do you have any like rituals that you do that are creative?
I mean, I sort of have a morning ritual. It doesn't always like happen. Sometimes I can like go like do it every day for like weeks and then it just yeah stops. But mostly I get up, I do like a little movement. Mostly it's like a workout for like 15 minutes, and then I get a cup of tea and I read a book.
Hmm.
And then sort of, I used to journal, but I have fallen off the wagon of journaling, and I can't get into it anymore. But yeah, and that's sort of it. So it's not like huge, but it works for me. So
Do
yeah.
you have some favorite books that you could recommend that you've read?
Ooh, I have a lot,
Oh,
but
okay.
I just yeah, I
I
read a
love
lot
book
of
recommendations.
yeah, I read a lot of fiction books.
Hmm.
Like I just finished Broken Country. I don't know the author anymore, but that was a really beautiful book. But I'm also like a fantasy reader,
Hmm.
like all the ACOTAR and Glass Throne
Yeah,
series. I'm really yeah, I love them.
I love that.
Yeah,
Do you, I know that sometimes you've described yourself as being too much. And I
yeah,
know that a lot of the people that are listening to this are at the beginning stages of their creative exploration. So they're a little more like creatively timid.
yeah,
Can you talk about how that works for you or like resistance that you've had or why you feel like
yeah.
that?
Yeah, I mean, I think I I know like ADHD, you have people that are kind of still calm-ish, I guess. But I know I have like a lot of energy, and when I get to like talking about things that I love, I get like really sort of like loud almost and overwhelming. And I used to get really scolded for that. Like when I was a child, it was always like, "You're a girl. You have to be like calm and serene. You can't be like this." So I guess that's where I felt like I'm too much. But and also with maybe even yeah hobbies, I do like I really jump into hobbies. Like I get some new idea in my brain, and I need to like buy whatever it is that I need to like skating or rollerblading. I buy it and I'm like I need to do it right now. We have to. And I just do that. And then it could be like weeks or like days. And then I'm bored. And then I just quit, sort of. And I just like sort of roll back into something else. And I've just accepted it. Like I used to be really like talking myself down for it because like who does that? You know, all these hobbies and now they're sort of dead and lying in the closet. You can't do that. And then I was like, but I'm an adult and it's like it's my money and I'm doing with it what I want. So if I want to like have 20,000 hobbies and then quit and do something new, I mean, I can, you know?
Exactly. And I think you
So,
take part of that with you into whatever you do next,
yes.
right? Like it's not
Yeah.
wasted,
No. And you had fun, right? Isn't
right?
that
It's an
like
experience.
I'm a very firm believer of life is supposed to be fun. I know it can be really hard sometimes, and there's like so much going on right now that is really difficult. But I mean, we can still have fun, and if hobbies and like having multiple ones and jumping in from, like into 20,000 hobbies altogether makes you feel good and have fun, I mean, go for it, you know?
Absolutely. And it doesn't
Yeah.
mean that you have to do that thing all the time, right?
No,
Like maybe it's
no.
seasonal, or maybe you pick it
Yeah.
up and then you pick it up years later. You don't
Yeah,
know.
exactly. Yeah, yeah, don't throw away stuff. I used to do that because I'm a
Yeah.
minimalist. And I was like, oh no, but I haven't used that in years. I should throw it away. But then somehow, like a few months after, it's like now I'm like really interested in I need to have it again. Yeah.
Definitely. And are there any of your many hobbies that have surprised you in some way, like that you liked more than you thought or you just really didn't like?
Yeah, maybe cooking and like baking. I was thought like I didn't love it, but because you know, like I don't know, it feels like a chore. But
Hmm.
actually, I kind of like cooking. I'm just really chaotic, and so just it's all like when I cook, don't enter the kitchen. It's like a minefield. It's like just everything feels like it's exploded, and I know that, and I am very hectic when I cook. It's like all over the place. But then it's finished, and I'm like, oh, I'm so proud I made this. And when it's delicious, it's like, oh, this feels so good. And I'm just so happy. So I think I do love cooking.
That's good to know. And it shows you that there's not one way to do it, right? Like it doesn't
Yeah,
have to
yeah.
be like a neat, orderly kitchen with all everything like
No,
all
you
measured
don't.
out or what.
Yeah, it's part of the process. You don't have to like love the process, maybe even. I mean, but I kind of, I think I have fun with it. And yeah, so
And I
it's
think
cool.
that play and that experimentation
Yeah,
is really
yeah,
important, and especially for somebody new that might be trying to find something,
yeah,
hearing like different ways of doing things. You know, there's not
yeah.
just one way to cook.
No, and it's like you said, it's not always fun. Like
Right,
when I like the week before my period, I'm like, "Ugh," and I'm like, I'm not cooking at all. Like, please just cook for me. I'm not really in the mood for it.
right.
So I almost never like do very intricate meals because I'm just spaghetti, whatever. Yeah.
Where do you find your inspiration for
Oh,
things?
on Pinterest,
Oh my
online,
God, I
like
am obsessed with
99% of the time.
Pinterest.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I do. I love that. And I always change up recipes though. Like I'm not really I mean, I'm a recipe follower as in I get the ingredients that's on the list, but then I sort of wing it. Because I'm also like I'm trying to read the instructions, but my brain's also like it has read something that isn't there and I'm like, "Oh, I have to do this." And then I read it again. I'm like, "Oh, I didn't have to do that. Oops." So yeah.
Were you creative as a child?
Oh yeah, for sure I was. Yeah, I used to draw all the time, like wherever I could, and I used to play with like my dolls and get like all these elaborate stories playing out with my dolls. Like, honestly.
Did you have like support from your family about being
Not
creative?
really.
No?
Yeah, no, not really. I mean, I think they just kind of were like, it's all cool when you're a kid and, like do whatever, but when you grow up, maybe do something decent. And
Mm-hmm.
somehow, though, I did like, went on to study photography in school because my mom was just like sort of sick of me trying everything and she was so scared. She was like, just choose something that you're like interested enough that you're gonna stick with it for 3 years. That's all you need to do. Like do that.
Mm-hmm.
And then but afterwards she always like told me like I do regret that because now you're like struggling with a job and I should have just like told you to stick with something like economics or whatever. I'm like, yeah, but you didn't.
Well, and I think you have to kind of find your own path,
But yeah, I
and it
think
looks
so
different
too.
for everybody.
Yeah, yeah,
And I think a different generation might not realize too, like the opportunities or things that are available today. I mean, it's
yeah.
so different from when I started my business. I mean, it was, almost 40 years ago that I started my art business. I mean, we didn't
Oh,
have, social media. We didn't have any of this,
no.
and it's just so different today for people. I mean, you
Yeah,
could make a career in literally anything.
I know. I
Which is
love that though. Like there's like lots of opportunities, but it can be overwhelming too, I think.
definitely and hard to navigate too. And there's so much
Yeah.
conflicting advice,
Yeah. Yeah.
or there's so many like rules. I wrote a podcast episode that I'm going to record for next, I think for next week, but
Yeah.
talking about being a rule follower and trying to go against that, and just how many shoulds there are. Like you have to do
Mm,
things a certain way,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
as a creative, trying to like buck against that and come up with your own
Yeah.
ways, it's difficult because there's a lot of noise out there right now.
Yeah, there is.
I'm grateful for Substack though.
Yeah, me too. I'm so happy I joined it because I know it sort of started as a platform for writers, I think.
Hmm.
And I don't see myself as a writer at all. I know I write like a weekly newsletter, but I guess I
So
just
you are a writer.
never. Yeah, I know. It just doesn't feel like it. I'm like, oh, I'm a writer. I guess because I identify more as a visual artist, like a
Hmm.
photographer, that it's like sort of weird. But yeah, I'm so grateful. I met so many like really cool people, and I saw there's like gonna be a meetup with like Substackers in Amsterdam in
Oh,
September. Yeah, I was like, ooh, okay, I might join that. So
definitely. You
yeah,
should definitely go. What kind
yeah.
of things can you share with people? What kind of things you write about?
I mean, I write about sort of my multi-passionate side, like having ADHD and being like creative and sort of, I guess about like accepting that and but like struggles, but also like the fun stuff. But really, yeah, sort of wide. And I should always share my own photos. So yeah.
How did you start with writing? Did you write, did you
That's a
always
good question.
write? Yeah.
I think I had a newsletter on ConvertKit that's called Kit Now, like 5 years ago, and that was super random and sort of just very randomly sending newsletters about whatever I want. Oh no, actually, even goes like way back. I forgot. I had a travel blog.
Really?
Yes. It's still online, but it's like sort of dead. It's called Go Find Water. Oh yeah. I when like travel blogging became sort of a thing, I guess.
Hmm.
I started that too, but of course I quit because I was bored.
Hmm.
But yeah, that's how I got into writing, I think. And then it moved on to newsletters, but like very inconsistently. And then I think about like a year and a half ago, I started up my Substack and it was kind of consistent because I just wrote whatever sort of was on my mind, like the things I was struggling with or whatever sort of popped into my brain. And that really helps, like not setting any sort of limitations on what I write about, I guess. Yeah.
Why do you think that you've been more consistent with Substack?
I think part of it is that I know people read it.
Mm. Yeah, I
I mean, that
agree. I
helps.
think people
Yeah.
really are there to read. They're there
Yes.
to connect.
Yes. Yes, exactly. And that is really cool. And like I said, part of it is that I can write about whatever and people still are there and like
Hmm.
show up. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. So people really are interested in whatever I have to say.
Hmm.
So yeah.
And they don't expect you to niche down. You know, I
No,
think they actually
not
prefer
at
when you
all.
don't.
Yes, that's so true because there are like different people in my audience and some of them like resonate with this and then that one and like it's really yeah and I really love it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's varied. Do you write only on a computer or do you write longhand at all?
No, on a computer.
On a computer.
Yeah.
And do you have things like obviously you can that's portable. You can take that when you
Yeah.
travel in your
Yep.
hamper.
Yeah.
Do you have other crafts that you bring with you when you travel?
Not a lot because I think I kind of just when I travel I like to be outdoorsy and like just chilling, sort of hiking and taking photos. So I don't spend a lot of time on my crafts, I think, when I'm traveling. Although I do am sort of reconsidering if we take the alcohol markers with us.
They're small. They don't take up a lot of room.
Well, yeah, it's true. But I don't know if I'm gonna be like coloring outside. But maybe I can. I don't know. We'll see.
Where's your favorite place you've ever been?
Oof. I think Canada was, yeah, I think Canada's high on the
Where?
list.
Yeah, where were you in Canada?
I mean, we actually lived in Vancouver for like 8 months, which was really, really cool. Like city, I'm not a city girl,
Hmm.
but if I had to choose a city in the whole wide world, it would be Vancouver because I thought that was a really like awesome city. But I think like nature in Canada is just so pretty. I mean, and also we got married. We eloped to the US actually. We got married in the Redwoods National Park,
Oh,
and that
wow.
was yeah, that was something. The like those trees are really cool.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's crazy. I was so like stunned by the beauty. Yeah.
Are there photos of that in your Substack or on your
Ooh,
website
no,
or
I don't think
Instagram
so.
or
They're
wherever
on
you have?
yeah, they're on Instagram, but
Instagram?
like
Okay.
probably somewhere buried. I don't know. I should
I'll have to
maybe
go hunt for those. I'll have to see
yeah.
those pictures.
Yeah. Oh,
Well,
yeah.
is there anything else that you want to share that we didn't cover or anything you want to talk about?
Not really, I think.
No?
Not per se, no.
Oh, good. Well, I appreciate you taking the time and in between just caught you right before your next trip. I can't wait to, read about your next trip. And
Yeah.
thank you for sharing honestly about, your experience and your journey. And
Yeah.
I look forward to staying in touch.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for the invitation. I loved speaking about all this. I'm very honest. I always tell people I'm an open book and I like to I guess that's what people tell me on my Substack too. They love my like honesty that I share like whatever I want and the good things but also the shitty things.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And I think that that's so refreshing. And it really helps people see themselves in what you talk about, right? Because
Yeah.
we all go through this stuff. So
We
we can
do, we do.
identify.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love like that's what I needed when I was struggling with like multi-passionate and being like sort of feeling weird and left out and I was always just telling myself like why is everybody else doing this and why can't I somehow do it? But it's because people never shared about anything that like they struggled with. So I do that now because I just want people to be like, okay, I mean, I'm not weird.
And they're not alone,
Yes.
right?
I
Like,
mean, there's like so many of us. Yeah. We can be weird together.
absolutely. And successful and happy and
Yeah.
fulfilled and everything.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Definitely. Well, thank you so much, Kelly. I appreciate it. I enjoyed my conversation with you, and we'll definitely
Me
stay in
too.
touch.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you so much, Pam.
As I sit with this conversation with Kelly, a few things stand out. Things that I think all of us, no matter where we are on our creative path, need to remember. First, creativity doesn't have to be neat. Kelly reminded us that being multi passionate isn't a weakness, it's a way of seeing the world through many lenses. If you've ever felt guilty for not sticking to one thing, consider that maybe your gift is in connecting the dots across many things, and that's not distraction. Second, her story about photography was such a powerful reminder that creativity can also be grounding. Sometimes when life feels chaotic, when ADHD or stress or overwhelm are loud in our minds, creativity becomes a tool for mindfulness. Whether that's standing in nature with a camera or even cooking a meal that doesn't go perfectly, the act of creating pulls us back into presence. Third, I love how she talked about travel without a plan. It's such a metaphor for creativity itself. When we stop over planning, over editing, and trying to control every step, we leave space for discovery. We stumble into moments we never could have scheduled, and often those become the most memorable. And finally, Kelly's vulnerability around ADHD and self-acceptance is something we all need more of. So often we hide our quirks or try to fix them. But what if, like Kelly, we leaned in? What if instead of apologizing for being too much or all over the place, we reframed it as being endlessly curious, endlessly inspired, and endlessly human? So my invitation to you after this episode is simple. Pick up one of your hobbies you left on the shelf. Try creating without worrying where it leads. And most importantly, give yourself permission to embrace your messy, multi-passionate self. Because creativity isn't about perfection. It's about honesty, joy, and connection. And maybe it's about being weird together. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. If you enjoyed this episode, subscribe for free and share it with a friend. It helps others find the show and grows our community. Remember, creativity is yours to define, there are no rules, and it's never too late. Until next time.